Global warming is more urgent than we think. Global warming. A gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, generally attributed to the greenhouse effect, caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbons, and other pollutants. Since the establishment of the issue as a real problem in the 80s, we've been trying to convince people of the severity of climate change. That's now the past. Now, over 70% of voters acknowledge that human-caused climate change exists.
So number one, humans are causing it to happen catastrophically fast.
Okay. The problem is no longer convincing people of the issue, but solving it. It has ascended from a problem of the future to a problem of the now, and the more we push it off to the future, the more we worsen our future. Greenhouse gas. A gas that contributes to the greenhouse effect by absorbing infrared radiation. There are some people who still believe the exponential growth in the change of our climate is not due to human activity. Now, there are plenty of statistics out there as proof that you can find yourself. But since it's my job to explain it, here's the long story short. There's been a spike in global warming since the Industrial Revolution, a spike that travels in direct correlation with that of greenhouse gas emissions. Since 1970 alone, CO2 emissions have increased by 90%. For others, global warming just isn't a big enough problem. People are worried about other problems. For many people, things like school, jobs, sports, and relationships are just more important. Even the government diverts its focus towards things like political threats, physical threats, those being war and nuclear weapons. Why wouldn't we? These things concern us more so than global warming does because we aren't feeling its effects today. To be fair though, the media hasn't done a good job portraying the idea of global warming. They make it sound like a bunch of conspiracy theories, something either over-exaggerated or understated. Another issue that may raise eyebrows is the all-powerful dollar sign. In one, the solution we will be discussing later, the price tag to implement all parts of this solution is somewhere around $29 trillion over the course of 30 years. This would not only stop the increase in global warming, but give us the ability to pull down the greenhouse gases emitted and create a safer environment. Not following through with Project Drawdown can cause the Earth to continue global warming. The profit, however, is a whopping $74 trillion. Pretty good markup. Effect. A change which is a result or consequence of an action or other cause. So I'm sure you all already have some sort of grasp on the effects of global warming on the planet. So I'll list off a few you know and some you probably don't. Earth's temperature is projected to increase 1.5 to 2 degrees, which may not sound like a lot, but can cause mass flooding. Wildfire season is months longer. Pieces of the polar ice caps are breaking off, increases the likelihood of extreme hurricanes. One source even claims we will be experiencing once-in-a-century weather events annually if this perpetuates. Increases mosquito territory. An increase in evaporation would result in a lot more question marks around the agriculture and water supply of the Earth. There are many theories on how this problem could be at least somewhat resolved. One being former Oxford and Berkeley teacher Chad Frischman's 80 solution method he calls Drawdown.
Drawdown is a new way of thinking about and acting on global warming. It's a goal for a future that we want, a future where reversing global warming is possible. Drawdown is that point in time when atmospheric concentrations of greenhouse gases begin to decline on a year-to-year basis. More simply, it's that point when we take out more greenhouse gases than we put into Earth's atmosphere.
Now, I think I can guess the thing that popped into your mind when I said that. 80 is a lot. And contextually, I'd have to agree. It seems like it'd be tough to get the whole world to agree to do all 80 things. The same world where a church split because they couldn't agree on the carpet color. The same world where a war sparked thanks to the shooting of a pig. But they're not all life-changing. Some are simple as changing the chemical used in refrigerators or learning how to properly recycle. So yes, 80 might be a lot, but it's not that much. And if you're still not convinced, the upside goes beyond improving the environment, like converting to more plant-based diets or educating more women across the world, things that go beyond the health of our planet. Another more broad solution is the idea of converting to more earth-friendly energy sources, such as solar or wind-powered. This solution would not be able to be the sole cause for the preservation of our climate, but it would definitely be a large step forward. Now, we've already seen an increase in these energy sources that's visible in an increased amount of electric cars, solar panels, and wind turbines that are visible out and about. Modern electric cars now have the equivalent emissions of an 80 miles per gallon car. To reference, the average car is around 25 miles per gallon. Along with that, fuel price is only 30% of that of most cars, making it a more financially responsible decision in the long run as well. Another, more personal solution that won't solve but can help with the climate crisis is converting to plant-based diets. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. You do not need to go full vegan cold turkey. However, if a majority of people convert to a plant-based diets, that CO2 emissions drastically decrease. Why? Eating plant-based cuts out the middleman. When we eat animals, those animals had previously been eating plants or other animals that ate plants. But by eating plants, we cut out that extra step. It also cuts down on the carbon emissions from animal product and packing plants. Plus, there's the imminent added bonus of the health benefits that come with the diet, making both you and the planet healthier. Now, all of this might raise a few eyebrows, wondering, how on earth am I able to do anything about this anyways, or how am I supposed to make a difference? Now, I could just hit you with the cliches, don't litter, recycle, travel on foot or public transportation, and on and on and on. Now, by no means am I saying to stop doing those things, but don't think that you're doing everything you possibly could by throwing your empty Dasani bottle in the recycling bin. Fun fact, the cap and plastic ring around the top of the bottle aren't even recyclable. Funner fact, when non-recyclables end up in the recycling, it can contaminate a whole load. But what does invite you to do is prepare. As we've mentioned, this issue is much more urgent than we treat it, and getting a head start, I invite you to take a look at a few of the many solutions on the Drawdown website that you may be able to implicate in your life, both to help protect the environment, but also be one step ahead if these measures become mandatory in the future. Another rather simple thing is to talk to people. Bring it up in casual conversation. You never know who could be inspired by it or who has the platform to do something about it.